Before we get into the video, please give me a like and subscribe, and also if you have any comments during the video, leave them down below. I will try and respond as quickly as I can, but every single like, subscribe, and comment helps out the video. So now let's just get right into it. Basic Attention Token is a new player in the online advertising market and one that could completely change the way that online advertising is handled. Let's start off with the elephants in the room: Google, Amazon, and Facebook, which Insider Intelligence says will make up 64% of online advertising. That's a huge amount of market share, and that number is only potentially going to grow. The primary draw of using these companies is that they are the platforms by which we shop, search, and meet online, and so they're able to get advertisements in front of the people that would be more likely to want those things, which is a valuable resource for advertisers. But let's look at this from the perspective of the average consumer. Other than the idea that you will be able to get a product that may potentially be useful for you, there's a lot of drawbacks to online advertising. One, they get in the way of the content that we are trying to consume. So you have banner ads, you have side ads, which maybe don't take up too much space. Maybe sometimes when you get on a mobile platform, it can take up more. But you also have pop-out ads or ads that play sound. And so when you're trying to consume content or maybe watch a video or something to that effect, an advertisement will get directly in the way of your ability to view or enjoy that content. That is probably one of the reasons why ad blockers have been increasing and will probably only continue to increase. If I remember right, the number was about 25% of people now use an online ad blocker. Now, looking at this from the perspective of the average consumer, there's not really a good reason for me to leave advertisements on, other than maybe being able to see a product that I might like. They just get in the way of content too much, and I, as a consumer, don't really get very much of anything for it, other than an altruistic reason, which would basically be providing money for the website or whatever content I am hoping to enjoy. Another problem within the online advertising market is that there are a good number of middlemen that sort of cut out parts of the profit that would be going to the publisher. And so it's estimated that about 30% of the dollars that are spent on online advertising actually make it to the platform that is hosting the advertisements. And this can cut into the revenue. Now, this to me seems a little bit low, but now let's look at the new player inside the online advertising market, Basic Attention Token. Basic Attention Token is directly integrated with the Brave browser. So Brave browser is the platform by which the advertisements are running through. And Brave browser comes with an ad blocker, and all of the Basic Attention Token related advertisements are all opt-in instead of opt-out, which is huge. So you're not going to get advertisements unless you actually want them. It gives the consumers a choice. Now you might be asking yourself, why would I want to turn on online advertisements? I mean, I just explained why I, as a consumer, wouldn't want to have advertisements on. The basic, most fundamental reason why you might want to turn on advertisements in this system is that 70% of the revenue from advertisements actually goes to the user, and 30% goes to the publisher. In this case, it's going to be Brave. That revenue split is about even for the publisher, but the user is going to be more incentivized to turn on advertisements because they're actually receiving monetary pay for having advertisements on. It sort of cuts out the reason why you would want to turn on an ad blocker in the first place, because the advertisements are going to be curated. The advertisements are going to be potentially relevant to you while also maintaining your privacy, but you get paid for it. So now there's a reason to do so. So my basic understanding of online advertising is that there's two basic methods by which we can determine the cost of an online advertisement. Cost per mile, or CPM, or cost per click, or CPC. Cost per mile is 1,000 viewers. So when 1,000 people look at the advertisement, there would then be a rate by which you would pay for that ad. Or you can do cost per click, which is basically that there would be a certain number of people that would click on the advertisement, and that would pay the publisher for that advertisement. And there's varying rates for these two systems. I believe that most use cost per mile, but I actually have a breakdown of what it approximately is as cost per mile or cost per click from the major publishers. So that would be Google, Facebook, Instagram, which is Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. And it has a breakdown of the cost per click and the cost per mile. But the basic breakdown is Google search ads, $2.32 per click, $38.40 per mile. Google display ads, 67 cents per click, $3.12 per mile. And it continues sort of down the line. I should have all of those up here if I can figure out how to edit that. But for the most part, the cost per mile can be sort of like decently low, but the cost per click would be pretty high, depending on sort of the number of people that actually click through on the advertisement. So if you're paying $38.40 and your cost per click is approximately $2.32, then that means that not very many people are actually clicking on the advertisement, but it is getting in front of a good number of people, right? So there's sort of like a balance to be maintained. The interesting thing about basic attention token is that their cost per mile is actually decently high, but their cost per click is exceptionally low. And that's because based off of self-reported numbers, their click-through rate is actually decently high. So you can pay $20 per mile or per 1,000 people, or you can pay 20 cents per click, which actually ends up being cheaper than I think every single other online advertising platform. 20 cents per click, much, much cheaper. And you can pick which one you want to do. So this either shows a decent amount of hubris because if the click-through rate isn't very high, then you're going to be showing your advertisement in front of a lot of people for really cheap if you choose the cost per click. But if you do the cost per mile, it would be relatively more expensive because it's $20 per mile, which there's not very many other platforms that do that expensive per mile, but that cheap per click. So the click-through rate is obviously decently high. Brave approximately knows who their average user is going to be, and then also utilizing blockchain technology, they can just make sure to serve advertisements to specific people without actually having to gather data about all of the users. This system actually seems to address many of the reasons why somebody would want to have an online ad blocker, especially being an opt-in system instead of an opt-out system, but also would provide a financial incentive for people to turn on advertising. You would get the benefits of targeted ads, and you would also get the financial incentive in order to check out products, because you would actually get paid. If the person is using the cost per click system, then you would actually get paid 70% of that click of that revenue. So it means that people will want to keep the advertisements on because of the steady amount of payouts that they're going to be receiving. Brave still gets the 30% cut that they would normally receive from other online advertising systems, but they have the added benefit of incentivizing people, so more people are going to want to use the system. If we can apply this technology and these systems over into other platforms than just Brave, then more people would be leaving advertisements on. More people would be incentivized to actually keep ads, and in a way, this could be used to support creators who are creating online content, or platforms that are hosting ads in order to be able to support themselves, right? This will help get rid of the problem of ad blockers if instituted correctly. Relatively recently, Linus from Linus Tech Tips mentioned that consuming content while also blocking the advertisements is tantamount to piracy. And while he didn't mean this in like the legal sense, he meant this more in like the R sense. And considering how much of his revenue comes from online advertising, this is a completely reasonable position to take. And so if we could institute this technology, then it would actually address a lot of his concerns, I think, with the way that online advertising and online browsing is going. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do I have a good point? Am I missing something? And feel free to give me a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content so that I can create more content just like this. Not 90, come on. Wait, is that how it goes? No, it's more like something like that. Alright, anyways, quit being retarded. As well, damn it. Like and subscribe. Go to skin. I should have put like and subscribe in the beginning. Let's see.